I'm the owner of Trill Consciousness. It's a Black spirituality and consciousness brand. I like to say I'm selling spirituality and consciousness in the Trill package, right? So I started this business because at a time in my life, it was very important for me to get a sense of grounding. And I think in order to get that sense of grounding, other things kind of had to break. And other things from a foundational perspective that didn't exist, or things that I identified myself with were taken from me, or ideas I had of myself, right? Those things were taken from me. And so regardless of credentials or what you've achieved and accomplished, in my opinion, if you don't have a firm spiritual grounding, what it is that is your true alignment, your true purpose, right? Or at least seeking that thing. That's why I started the brand. Recently, I felt myself starting to come into that purpose. And the mission that I am on is to create 1,000 Black male yogis. It's traditionally a space that isn't super inviting to us. And it's also a space that when people do exist in it, I haven't seen certain representations that look like myself. I didn't see people that look like me, right? I didn't see people that were very serious and had a certain integrity about the practice, but that looked like me and carried things how I carried it. So that essentially was kind of the emphasis or the genesis of the brand, right? Basically encourages Black men not to shrink themselves, right? So when we're in certain environments, when we're in certain circumstances, right, there's code switching, there's not the ability to truly exist in your own space, right? And that idea, right, is to fully be yourself in yourself, right? And that is, to be a giant. And so similarly, Trill Consciousness is a distillation. It's a breaking down of these concepts, of these philosophies that I hold very near and dear to my heart, that I take very seriously and that I revere because of what they did for me. And then distilling those down to people that look like me, that share a similar background in a way that they can still authentically be themselves, right? But also benefit from the things that I have to offer, right? And I think a lot of the reason that we've struggled to do that as a people, when I say we, I mean Black people, is because psychologically, how do we find value in ourselves, right? And so when we don't find value in ourselves, that gets extrapolated. We don't find value in others that look like us, right? And so it's hard to maintain a sense of unity. And I think the most significant thing that this practice has done is when you seek yourself, right? Your true self, right? Not the self that responds from trauma, right? And so when you get grounded in, okay, this is myself, right? I see value here. Now I can look at you and I can see value. That's kind of how the event developed today. It's at Bruce's Beach. We call it Manhattan Beach, but it was actually started and founded by Black people who were run off, through racist KKK activity. And then the state took the property and now it's Manhattan Beach, where we at right now. We've gone from these practices, right, that started as just a personal thing for me to develop to the creation of a brand, to me trying to find my way with that brand and who was I serving. And like I tell people, like, I'm a guide, right? Like teacher is like, I can't teach a person how to get to themselves better than them, right? It's a very personal journey. But like, I'm a guide. I want people to value me for the integrity that I put into the practice and the things that I look to share and how seriously I take them, but not necessarily look to me to be this perfect entity or this perfect person because, like, I'm still got some rough edges.